H is proudly sponsored by CGI Business Solutions, located at 171 Londonderry Turnpike in Hooksett. Serving all your employee benefits planning, design and administration, investment and wealth management, and customized business insurance solutions. They are available at 866-841-4600 or on the web at cgibusinesssolutions.com.
The Shaskin Pub is happy to be a sponsor in WMNH. Our location is 909 Elm Street. The Shaskin Pub is open 7 days a week from 11:30 a.m. to 1 a.m. and offers the best food and drinks in downtown Manchester.
Listening to WMNHLP, Manchester's radio, broadcasting at 95.3 megahertz frequency modulation from the top of 1000 Elm Street. Our studios are located at 1045 Elm Street and licensed to Manchester Public Television Service in Manchester, New Hampshire, USA. Contact us by email at WMNH953@gmail.com or through our website at WMNHradio.org.
I'm sure you're aware Halloween is 3 weeks away, and there's a conservative Christian group that doesn't like it. In fact, they're suggesting an alternative to Halloween for kids this year called Jesusween. And this might be hard to believe, but it's even lamer than it sounds. The group is encouraging Christians to distribute Bibles on Halloween instead of candy. They better not be passing out the fun-sized Bibles, by the way. I want the full, you know. You'll know which families are handing the Bibles out by the dozens and dozens of eggs making their house into a giant omelet. But, you know, you make fun of this sort of thing, and at first glance, Jesusween doesn't sound like it'd be much fun for kids, but the organizers behind it released an online video today that I think addresses it pretty well.
This October 31st, join us for the nationwide festival of Jesusween, a celebration of Christian values. Instead of scary pagan costumes, children wear white to symbolize righteousness. Instead of candy and junk food, people give out free Bibles and Christian gifts. Jesusween is fun for everyone. Just ask Peter.
Jesusween is a lot more fun than Halloween. Yay!
Or Jesse.
Who needs candy when you can have a Bible?
Or Heather.
Kids who wear costumes are going to hell.
Celebrate Jesusween on October 31st.
I'm a Jesus wiener. I'm a Jesus wiener. I'm a Jesus wiener. Wieners!
Getting close to midnight, and all the bets are still in town. True love lipstick on your linen, biting the
Hello, guys.
Auto sequence starts.
Happy Halloween, everybody. Welcome. It's Matt Connarton, Unleashed in the Afternoon. We are live on WMNH 95.3 FM, emanating from downtown Manchester, New Hampshire, streaming at WMNHradio.org. I just heard a very strange sound. What was that?
Must be Halloween.
Oh, right. Is that your Halloween sound, Glenn? Of course, we are. We're also on Channel 97 Comcast. Did I mention WMNHradio.org? Glenn threw me off with his spooky noises. And, of course, we're on Facebook via Facebook Live on the Matt Connarton Unleashed Facebook page. I already see Jenny in there. Hello. Of course, I see a bunch of people. Actually, I see NASCAR Nicey is in there. Derek Evan Relaford, Glenn R.J. Ouellette's biggest fan. Thomas Massengale is in there as well, a good friend of the venerable Mr. Hopwood. Who is in studio with us. It is, of course, Halloween, October 31st, 2018. And here we are. 603-250-6007 is the number to call. 603-250-6007. Wasn't here yesterday, but Monday on the show, we had quite the program. We were joined by the Honorable Sir John of Heichel, as Gary Hopper likes to call him. And the big story, of course, we'll get to that. We already have a call, so let's grab this. Hi, welcome to Matt Connarton, Unleashed in the Afternoon. Who's this?
Yeah, I got a little problem with Master Hopwood.
Oh, my goodness, Master Hopwood.
What did I ever do to you, John?
Oh, I haven't put the sign back up after I mowed the lawn?
Can you move your mic is like
No,
way far away.
you didn't put the sign back up.
Oh, yeah, the sign. I think only Bill Barry's. Yeah, you're in the garage.
Yeah.
Well, I'm mowing again today because all the leaves are coming down. That's how I bring the leaves up. Okay, it'll be out when I get back for Halloween.
Yeah, we put up Connie's sign, my sign, and Tim's sign.
Oh, yeah, they were all out there, but I'm going to have to mow the lawn again for the leaves. When I get back, it'll be totally covered again.
Oh, my goodness.
You know,
Okay, well,
Bill's off for the side.
Wrong.
Nothing at all. And good luck Tuesday.
Okay, bye.
It's true, I didn't put the signs back.
Bye,
up.
Heidi. That was Heidi Hamer, I assume.
Yeah.
Yes. So these two fine gentlemen here with me in the studio, Glenn R.J. Ouellette, the People's Mayor, and Master Hopwood, as Heidi has called him. Is that who you are today? Are you
Master Sergeant.
Master Sergeant Hopwood? My goodness, they are not aware yet of what, to me, is the greatest political story of my lifetime. So I'm going to share this. I'm going to share some audio with you. This is the latest reporting from New England Cable News. Listen to this, and then we can discuss and analyze and assess.
Because he was unhappy with the final product. NBC 10's
I got to back it up to the beginning. Hang on.
Representative and joins us now live from Derry
if it'll let me.
His response is being accused of starring in an adult film and then assaulting the producer because he was unhappy with the final product. NBC 10's Catherine Underwood spoke with the state representative and joins us now live from Derry.
So, is Al Baldessaro on the warpath again?
No, they are referring to Al is an actor, it turns out, and he is in a movie that's going to be coming up, but it is not an adult film.
But it's for adults. I mean, adult
I would
themes.
assume. No, this is they are referring to Frank Sapparetto, the Honorable Frank Sapparetto from Derry, New Hampshire.
Yeah, I heard it on the news last night.
Yes.
You know him?
He's been on.
I don't know him.
He's been on this show.
Oh, he has.
Were you here the day that he was here? He was talking about let's hurry up and bomb North Korea.
Is he the one I told to call the expletive?
Oh no, it was Dr. Jeff Cassell who was here for that.
Well, I've called Dr. Jeff Cassell names, but not that.
That's true. Yes. Well, let's listen to the rest of this. This will give us the update on the accused.
Derry with his response, Catherine.
Well, Shannon, the 58-year-old has been representing residents here in Derry for the past
decade, even more than that. And today we met up with him at his home where he vehemently denied all of these accusations.
So you're saying
this is not you in this?
That's part of my face.
Who's the woman interviewing?
You don't ever.
How would you do that? No.
Video sent to us by the plaintiff's attorney allegedly shows New Hampshire State Representative Frank Saporetto at the beginning of an adult film. But Saporetto tells us the video has been altered.
That is me, but that's not me in that situation.
I don't understand.
I don't either. I'd like to know how he does that.
Saporetto also says these screenshots are photoshopped.
Oh, Jesus. Yep.
The 7-term Republican state rep says he made a bad business deal with a man named Jonathan Carter out in California.
This guy's a scam artist.
Now he says Carter is extorting him a week before Election Day.
He wants more money. And since I wouldn't pay him, now he says he destroyed my political career. He's following through on it.
In a phone interview, the plaintiff's attorney, Eric Dubin, says after filming the X-rated movie back in June, Saporetto went to Carter's home and beat him up.
He apparently got upset with the way his adult scenes went. They didn't go very well.
He was in the movie?
He appeared at my client's house and attacked him.
Authorities in California didn't have enough evidence to charge Saporetto with assault, so now Carter is filing a civil suit. Saporetto stands by his denial.
Never. It's ridiculous.
And is hoping his constituents will stand by him next Tuesday.
This is just a political hit a week before the election.
So Saporetto tells us that he's getting a lawyer and he plans to sue Jonathan Carter for extortion. Reporting live in Derry, New Hampshire, Catherine Underwood, NBC 10 Boston.
So there you
For
have
every
it.
green jug of cat.
Oh, sorry, and then an ad started playing. I wasn't expecting that. So what say you, gentlemen? Have either of you ever been accused of participating in an adult movie?
Was this in California?
Yes.
This was in California. I don't know why he went all the way to California.
Well,
I mean, we were talking about it on the show Friday. I mean, you can make
that's where porn
adult
is
films
king.
here. I mean, look, we live in a city where we have restaurants like Creamland and Goldenrod. I mean, it seems rife for, or ripe, I should say, for, well, you know.
In California, if you're hiring a prostitute is illegal, but not hiring a woman to appear
porn.
in an adult film.
Yeah.
So you could film yourself having sex, and it would not be considered prostitution.
Oh, my goodness. Wow.
Not that that might have anything to do with this.
Now, you used to live in California. Did you ever have a situation where someone tried to snooker you into appearing in an adult film so that they could then extort you for money?
Funny, but I don't remember that ever happening to me.
Snooker, huh? You like that word?
Snooker, yes. Well, how about you, the People's Mayor, Glenn
No,
R.J.
not
Ouellette?
I. I'm
back in
too smart for that.
back in Van Buren, Canada, you never had anything like that happen?
Van Buren, Maine is
Oh.
not Canada, and it's a very small town. Those things don't happen. They don't film.
You think they don't happen?
Not in a small town.
Oh my goodness!
Wait until we see the Studio 54 documentary that's coming out, and we'll see Sexy Man in his splendor.
I don't think so. I've never been there, so good luck.
Well, you can replay these lines, and that will be, when you're running for whatever.
I'm not running for anything.
Not even Bishop of Gob?
No, especially that. It doesn't exist.
Oh my goodness! So, so
then
Frank,
why,
of
then
course,
why is there a Bishop of Gob?
I don't know.
So Frank, of course, denies that's him in the film.
Curious, is he a Democrat or a Republican?
He's a Republican. He's a member of the Party of Family Values.
I'll give you 10 cents if you can figure out what the title of the Studio 54 documentary is.
You'll give me 10 cents?
Yeah, if I had it.
Cents. Oh my God,
Well-
he's cheap.
Well, it won't be called simply 54 because that's already been done.
That was that god-awful movie with Ryan Philippe.
Ryan Felipe and
Dolly Dimples or whatever.
Mike Myers.
Oh, jeez. 10 going once. Going twice.
Gone.
Studio 54. That's the title.
No, imaginative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should have bet you $2.
I should have.
Wasn't there already a
Or you
movie called
should've.
Studio 54?
No,
No, it was 54 Glenn.
It was simply called 54. So that's the big national story. It's my favorite
It's a
political
national story.
It is
yeah.
a national
Yeah.
story, yes.
From California to Derry, New Hampshire.
Well, it's not every day that a New Hampshire state lawmaker is accused of starring in a adult film.
Well, he admitted he acted in it.
Did he? Well,
did he?
No. Well, he claims that he was in a. Actually, it's an evolving story. I should see if there's an update. He claims that
He did?
that he was filming some sort of travel video or something.
Oh.
And
boy.
they put his head on someone else's body.
They can do that.
Yeah.
Who are they, by the way?
This guy Carter, who's suing him. So the original accusation.
You sure it's not Surefire Intelligence?
What's that?
The
travel
organization that's trying to get women to make false accusations of sexual harassment against Robert Mueller.
Oh, I don't know. Oh, hello. Oh, Moose Alert, Moose Alert. Joel Elber is in the Facebook live chat.
Hi, Joe.
Yes.
Hey, Moose, if you're not doing anything Tuesday...
he is.
Tuesday, oh, that's right. He's a poll official.
Yeah, well, we need those around here.
I'm not going to be here on Election Day.
I believe that's the title of Frank Saporetto's film, Poll
Is it?
Official.
Oh.
I think so.
Are you voting absentee?
Yes.
Good for you.
Are you voting absentee?
Well, he's
I'm
not
not
going to
gonna
be
be
here.
Where are you going to be?
Heaven.
Oh, no. You're going to die
I'm
before
going
that?
to be out of state.
Oh, jeez. Glenn said you're going to be in heaven.
I will be in heaven, but I'll have to tell you where I'm going to be after the show.
Oh, my goodness. Are you going to be in California making a film?
Oh.
Poll Official, the sequel?
P-O-L-E?
Well, we don't necessarily need
Pole
to make the
dancing.
joke more obvious.
Maybe
but-
we should have pole dancing at the polls.
Oh, my goodness. Well, that would get out the vote.
Then we'd never get flush Bill Clinton out of the voting places.
God.
That's right.
Oh, he's got a new charge against him for sexual harassment.
Who, Bill?
Some Arkansas TV journalist says he sexually harassed her over a series of years. Now, I don't know if that means they had an affair or
It's an
something.
old charge, then. Or
Yeah.
it's new, but it's
Right.
old. Okay.
Everything old is new again.
I know.
Just like Glenn and RJ Ouellette.
Really?
So the newest,
I'm old.
This is the story from the Concord Monitor.
But new.
Footage appears to show New Hampshire rep in porn. Lawmaker says video doctored. A New Hampshire legislator accused of assaulting a
It was
California porn
doctored.
director and denying any knowledge of the situation appears to have filmed in the nude in
In
a
the
pornographic
nude.
film. I've heard that. Now, I've never...
Did he have socks on?
As a good, I don't know. As a good Christian man, I don't view pornography. I hope you gentlemen don't either. But I have heard that these films are made in the nude.
You don't have to. You just
They
look
don't
at-
have to be.
Y'all got to do is look at yourself in the mirror in the morning.
I told
Zinger,
you.
Zinger. That's a
I
good one,
told
Glenn R.J.
you.
Ouellette. What?
I told you about that subspecies of porn, Mormon underwear porn.
Oh, yes, which does sound sexy. Now, can they legally film that in Utah, or do they have to go to California for that?
Everything's probably filmed in California.
They can always do it underground.
Oh,
And
underground.
When you think something's filmed in California, it's usually filmed in Canada.
Ah, yes. Yes. No, that is true because it's cheaper up there.
Where?
A lot of
in Vancouver?
Vancouver, Toronto.
Wow.
A lot of
sometimes Montreal if you want to pretend you're like in Paris or Europe.
Paris.
a lot of television series that
Yeah.
were set in New York were actually filmed in
That's
Toronto.
true.
Yeah,
That's true.
because it's much cheaper and it's a big city, so it looks like a big city. It says State Representative Frank Saporetto, a dairy Republican, is presently being sued by adult film producer Jonathan Carter after allegedly assaulting him as the two worked on a pornographic film in California in June.
What kind of
according
assault?
to the AP?
Did he sleep with him? Because assault, you know.
No, he hit him.
Yeah, he claims.
Oh, you mean
he
there was
got
battery?
Allegedly, yes.
Allegedly,
yes.
he beat him, right?
He punched him, according to the story.
So it
yes.
wasn't sexual assault. It was he hit him.
Right.
Domestic violence.
Well,
Well,
no,
there
it's
are
not.
porn that featuring violence.
Oh, sure,
I
yes.
remember like 10, 15 years ago, people were thinking, "Oh, we should ban something like that." But you're up against the First Amendment, and if the women,
Yeah.
it's let's not even go there.
I once saw a film where a pizza roller was used for assault, as well as other things. It was horrifying, but that's the only adult film I've ever seen.
Does that have to do with Glenn?
As a good Christian man.
Nothing to do with me.
A
I'm
good
a Christian man.
Well,
Yes,
it's
I'm
obviously an
nothing to
inside
do
I
joke.
think we're all good Christian men. We don't
Yeah.
watch these things.
We don't look at those things.
Are you talking about the time when you had all the trouble with those buck-toothed beavers when you were building the dam? Well, no, that was
Well,
Auburn, man.
That was the original working title
The
of
slapping their tails. and it made you and Sassy, you know.
I think the original working title of Frank's film was Bucktooth Beaver, and they changed it to Pull Official when they found out he was a politician.
Well, they do know how to build dams. I can testify to that.
Yes,
pretty quickly.
That's right.
And then the whole place floods.
Oh my
The backyard turns into a pond.
Yes, well,
They're big too.
Yes. Carter accuses Saporetto of hitting him in the head, face, and body, causing a concussion, the AP reported. Well, hey, you know, I've seen the movie Get
Slapping
Shorty.
that tail.
I've seen the movie Get Shorty. The film industry is rough. You know, there is violence.
So what do you get? You got a...
That's a good movie.
It is a good movie.
A concussion, a stomach concussion?
I don't get it.
He punched him in the stomach?
Oh, stomach concussion. Yes. Good one, Glenn. The assault occurred after a 7-hour filming session of
7 hours?
7 hours.
No wonder why he was irritated.
Yeah.
The Viagra ran out?
He's a virile man.
Wow.
As we established on Monday. A 7-hour filming session of an adult film starring Saporetto and was promoted by...
Who's the woman in it?
I don't know. We'd have to ask Frank. Maybe we'll get him on the show. And was prompted by Saporetto's dissatisfaction with the footage, Carter alleges. Yes, apparently he wasn't happy with how the film went.
Produce the film? Did he make it from? Did he put the money up to make it for himself? Because if you're making a porno film, somebody like, oh, come on, star in my film. I don't think I would be like, you know, complaining about the footage. You know, might be complaining about the co-star or something.
Well, right.
You know, if it's free or something, but if he's producing it.
And if you're not happy with the co-star, it might affect your own performance in the film.
See, this doesn't kind of make sense in a way.
And Viagra isn't going to solve that, is it?
No, I don't know. Well, it might. But
how come nobody offers to put me in a porn film?
You used to live in California. I can't believe this never happened to you. I can't believe you were never tricked into making a later.
He was tricked?
Later, it turned out to be porn.
I thought he said he didn't have anything to do with it.
Travel.
There have been an inconsistency or two in his explanation.
Doesn't he have a lawyer?
But didn't he say that he was filming a traveling commercial or something?
Yeah, some kind of travelogue or something where
I'm going to L.A. to make a film.
Don't make it travel.
It's the Black Russian Terrier show. The Nationals are in L.A. this year.
So if someone offered you to do porn in California, you would do it?
Wait a minute.
Well, first of all, who would offer to me to do porn?
Yeah, but you
and
said...
secondly, a Black Russian Terrier is a dog. What am I going to do, couple with a dog?
Well,
what are you talking about?
This
is like the Westminster show.
Oh my goodness. Well,
But you have a dirty mind.
Are you
No, you mentioned it. Nobody asked me. If somebody asked me for free, you said.
Yeah, the show, it's woof.
Are you sure? Are you sure, though, that's what you're getting into and you're not being tricked like Frank?
Yeah.
And the next thing we know, we're going to see your head CGI'd on some body of some buddy.
On Matt's body.
On my body. Oh, my goodness.
We still had the TV show when, you know, we had the thing about the BRTs.
Remember the Black Russian Terriers, yes.
Remember
I'm just concerned. I don't want to see what happened to Frank happen to you.
I'd be
that's
more
all.
concerned with like getting bit by one of these.
So that's the big story of the day, huh?
Yes. Well, there's more. There's more to the update. Oh, yes. So Saporetto has denied the allegation and initially said he was unaware of the situation.
Is this the Alderman's brother?
No.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
Not that I'm aware of.
I don't know what you're talking about, he told the AP on Friday, and comments first reported on Monday. But on Tuesday, a lawyer for Carter released a video clip, photo, and emails that appeared to establish that Saporetto had participated in a pornographic film. Oops. And, well, that's what's so funny about his denial. It's like, dude, there's video evidence here.
Can't deny that.
In one clip distributed Tuesday, Saporetto greeted a woman at the door and briefly made sexual contact.
What does that mean?
Well, maybe the brief...
Is that why he's upset about the footage?
Maybe the brevity...
Underperformed?
The brevity of it, yes.
Do not touch me.
I think I'm going to get suspended for another 2 weeks.
Oh, my goodness. A separate video screenshot appeared to show Saporetto nude and laying down next to another person. Separate screenshots of emails addressed to Saporetto's publicly listed email address purported to show the lawmaker expressing interest in participating in the adult video. In an interview with The Monitor Tuesday, Saporetto accused Carter of doctoring the evidence against him through digital video effects and Photoshop. Photoshop? You can do that with... Wow, Photoshop's come a long way. You can... I'm going to make some movies.
You are?
I'm thinking about it.
You going to Photoshop him?
Do you need any footage of, you know, kind of... I don't know what the word to use. with a big ball between his legs, going back and forward.
Oh, right.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. The
I don't know what you call either the person or the exercise.
I know
but
what you're
got it.
referring to.
Yeah,
yes. Wow.
That was a big ball.
Hello to AJ Davis, who joins us in the Facebook live chat, as well as Matt Nisanoff, and Christian Cunard is in there as well. Let's see. Saporetto, who works as an investor, was in California on a business trip in February and met Carter in a lobby, Saporetto said. Carter
lobby.
Yes. Sounds like the opening scene of a film.
Yeah, yeah, like in the old porno movies. Oh, somebody, they knock on the door to deliver the mail, UPS. They're going to have sex. It comes over for the cable. They're going to have sex.
Right.
No matter what.
Yes.
Sex.
Somebody's New Hampshire state rep. They're going to have sex.
We're in the lobby. We're going to have sex. There you go.
Carter pitched him an investment opportunity, a business filming. You see why this is my favorite political story
Sounds
ever?
like a con job to me.
Carter pitched him an investment opportunity, a business filming tourist attractions, and selling them abroad to people considering visiting the U.S.
We don't use that language.
What?
Non-sexist usage. Selling abroad.
Oh, right. Yes, well, that's...
I like dames.
Apparently, when he was talking about selling abroad, that was probably the plot to one of these
Trump
films.
know about that?
So selling...
I don't know.
Any tariffs?
So doing a movie on traveling, and they're in a lobby, and he answers the door, and he touches a female inappropriately, that doesn't sound like traveling to me.
Well, it
depends
sounds,
on what was traveling.
Yeah,
sounds like traveling into the adult film industry to me.
Really?
Yes. Saporetto agreed to invest $5,000 and visited in June.
Wow. There's a lot of money.
What an investment.
And visited in June to check in on his investment, he said.
Of the porno film?
That's another scenario in a lot of these films. I'm here to check on my investment, and then, they have sex.
That's what the girl costs.
Right, yes, yeah. I guess.
So the guy's actually a pimp. Yeah, it's easy to figure out from not here.
Allegedly. This is all allegedly.
Then they trimmed him.
Yeah. Allegedly.
It's obvious what's happening. Now it's obvious.
They trimmed him all right.
Because, prostitution is illegal in California.
Yeah.
But making a porn film isn't.
Yes.
And some people, with a few bucks to spend, can get around things that way.
Sure.
Yeah. Like a
little trimming.
I'm sure Charlie Sheen's probably engaged in that many a time.
Oh, my goodness.
Besides being a freak.
Back when he was winning.
Well, it keeps him from getting busted. He's already been busted many times.
So is that what Trump said when he, is that what Trump meant when he said you're going to be so tired of winning? He was referring to Charlie Sheen?
Oh.
Trump learned how to win from Charlie Sheen.
Oh, well, that's he's going to want to
just
see a doctor if that's the case.
I'm in Walmart and I'm walking by and there's that woman's book. What's her name?
Which woman?
Stormy Daniels?
Yeah, it's not even on the
Stormy
bestseller list.
Doesn't have to be, as long as it's for sale.
And then Avenatti. Oh, I'm so proud of her. It's like, boy,
hey, he made his money.
Strange world.
He made his money off of her.
Here it is in the Walmart.
So there's a little bit more here. Over the course of a week, the two filmed tourist attractions, according to Saporetto. They left amicably. The assault allegations came later.
What was the tourist attraction's name? Stormy? Tempest?
Saporetto said he had seen the video released Tuesday, but it was not authentic. He said, quote, "It had my head on a body. He had pictures of me, and he had records of my voice, but what they showed me was in situations I wasn't there," unquote.
What did he didn't match up to his expectations?
I guess not.
Somewhere else.
They had records of his voice. So what? They had a guy, and he's,
Sock it to me, baby.
While he's,
so he read the lines, but he wasn't there.
So what? But the thing about the records of his voice is really funny. It's like so what? The male in the film is talking about a particular tourist attraction during the
Stormy
or
Tempest
the
or
big
whoever
climactic scene or whatever.
Well,
that's what you call it.
They wanted to get it right. Now.
It doesn't fudge up.
Well, if it's worth doing, it's worth doing right.
Let's hope it wasn't that, Glenn.
Did you hear me?
What?
I said it doesn't fudge up.
Oh, zinger! Glenn with the zingers. I'll tell you, he's bawdy today. Have you noticed that? He's all this ribaldry with the humor.
Isn't it Wednesdays? Isn't it Bawdy Brian on Wednesday?
No, it's Hump Day.
Oh no! Well,
so is that the name of the?
Not according to Representative Saporetto. It's not.
What is Wednesday to him?
I don't know, but
travel.
Yeah. So Frank's been on the show, so we'll have to have him on, and he can tell his story. But
will he?
I don't know. So what do you think? I mean, I think as far as his reelection, this just puts him over the top. I think.
You think?
Oh yeah, he's a go-getter. That's what I kept saying Monday. He's a go-getter. You know, he. I mean, and 58 years old generally is the optimum age, from what I've read, to get into adult films. There's a lot of demand around that age. You know?
Really?
Yes.
I wouldn't say this has to do with him, but I just figure the guy he's going on a trip. He arranged some entertainment in the night entertainment industry, as they used to call it in San Francisco, and then they trimmed him.
And they charged him $5,000.
Well, I guess you have to put the dough up first, because remember, $10,000 is a price of a all-nighter on a high-class call girl. That's what Trump offered McDougal, and that price has been around for 40 years.
Guess I wouldn't go far. I only make $8,000 a year.
Oh my!
That's a night.
Yeah, I know.
How much is the most you made?
I would
a night?
never. A night?
Yeah.
I don't do
As a
anything.
lover.
What are you talking about? I'm not into stuff like that. Are you?
I wouldn't tell you if I was. If we were in California, I might. It's a little looser standards.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
California loose. Huh? The bear is loose.
Oh,
they do have a bear on their flag.
The bear flag republic, man.
Yeah. The bear is loose, yes.
I do have a sense of humor. I don't know.
Yes, you do.
Do you think it's too dry?
Maybe that was the problem out on the West Coast. I don't know.
When you're traveling, when you're traveling and he's an important person up for election,
yes,
you don't want to get caught in a sting with some cheap hooker. So maybe, he has his needs, and it just went awry.
Yes.
And went awry.
My grandfather always warned me about that type of thing.
He did?
Well, when he told you not to frolic in the rye.
He had dementia,
right?
so I didn't take him seriously.
The Catcher in the Rye.
Yes. Oh, it's
what
a great,
is the rye?
great
You can
book.
always dream, right, Matt?
Can always dream.
Yetis don't
You said
dream.
he had dementia. He's probably dreaming.
Yes, he probably was. I don't know. Are you making fun of dementia?
No,
How dare
I'm
you?
not. I am not.
Glenn made a
I
very
am
inappropriate joke.
I am not making fun of anybody.
Grossly
It's
insensitive.
comedy only.
Oh, okay. It's
Grossly
comedy.
insensitive.
Comedy, I know, right?
It's hurtful.
In these PC times.
Very hurtful.
How's he going to be the Grand
Bishop of
Poobah
God.
of Ghana or something?
You talk about morals.
Yes. Well, I try not to
We have
too
a
much.
president that doesn't believe in morals.
And how does that make him unique?
I don't know if it makes him unique, but it doesn't teach the new generation much, does it?
And who would look to the President of the United States for instruction on morals?
Moral turpitude.
Good point there, John.
Yes. Well, by the way, actually, I don't know if I mentioned this, but Trump has weighed in on the Frank Saporetto. I told you it's a national story.
Did he endorse
Well,
it?
he's an expert at paying off women.
Well, yeah, that's true.
According to him, getting
Did he
shaken down.
endorse him?
Well, what he said is he mentioned
Mike
it.
Pence did.
He mentioned it at a rally. Can you imagine? He mentioned it at a rally the other night.
Yes, I can.
And he said he believes Frank's story and that it wasn't Frank.
Could be other people also. There's a lot of people out there.
So he believes it was actually somebody else.
Person
He's
was
got
not
such a crude accent.
But the other person was
From
not
New
a
York,
woman;
though.
it was a man. Carter's a man, right?
Yeah, Carter does not. He does not appear in the film.
Carter is either the pimp or the director.
Probably
take
the
your pick.
director.
Probably
Yes.
both.
Oh, could be
Good
both.
evening, I'm Ouellette, and
Would you please?
What? Would I
Where do you
please?
find such disgusting stuff?
Get dancing, baby.
Oh my
I'm
goodness!
not
we got to sponsor a show in the Studio 54.
Really? Well,
somewhere.
I'm not going to New York. Are you?
We can do it here. Isn't there a
Really?
place that we can just show a movie? They don't have any.
Sorry, I don't know of a studio here called Studio 54
There's
in
no
Manchester.
there's no culture for film here. Maybe at universities, but I don't know.
Hello to Sean Scott, who joins us in the Facebook live chat. one of the ways you can interact with us today. Another one is to give us a
Yes.
call, 603-250-6007.
One way you can interact with us is give us $5,000, but you have to provide the camera.
Right. Well, see, now I'm worried, though. See, because...
Glenn, do you still have your room key to the DoubleTree?
What DoubleTree?
Well, the DoubleTree.
No, I've never had a room key to the DoubleTree.
Well,
Never
that-
been to a DoubleTree.
Maybe that'll come out of the $5,000.
Oh,
my
God.
Well, you kind of put him on the spot. Maybe we need to
We
revisit
don't need
that
we don't
discussion
need-
off air.
Well, we could use the robes, because you don't want to be immodest on the set.
The next time someone mentions the robes, they're probably going to be wearing one around their neck.
Yeah, you're going to hire Joe Lavasser?
I believe the people's mayor just threatened to strangle us with robes.
You mean with the
I didn't mention
with the sash that
any
goes
names.
around the robe?
Oh.
There are no robes.
But your judicial robes.
What is that?
Glenn, you're
I'm not
so
a ju-
modest.
I'm not a judge.
There is photographic
You're a
evidence.
magistrate.
There is
photographic evidence.
There is photographic evidence of a judicial robe on Glenn.
When you were the magistrate up in Quebec.
I don't think so.
Have you been saparettoed?
No.
Is that not you in the picture?
Have you ever been sacrificed?
No. Have you?
I'd like to be, but
Oh,
you know.
my God.
I guess you come back the next day, right?
And this is national news,
I don't
man?
know. I don't know. This is well. It is Halloween. It's Halloween. Hello
No.
to Ed Murphy
It
in the
is
Facebook
creepy.
live chat. Yes,
It is creepy.
Yes.
It's Samhain.
Huh?
Samhain.
What does
Oh.
Ed think about that?
Samhain.
That
But, it's
Taurus
Celtic,
thing.
so it's Samhain.
Right.
This is the Celtic New Year.
Ed Murphy,
I'll
what
be
is your
celebrating
opinion
that.
on this story?
Who's Ed? Ed Murphy?
Ed Murphy in the Facebook live chat.
Is he the guy that owns Murphy's Tap Room?
No.
No, that's Keith Murphy.
That's Keith.
Also a state rep.
Yes.
Yeah, his wife used to be. Was she on the school board, or did she just
She was
run
on the
for it?
school board.
Yeah, from Ward 12.
Yes, until she
But
moved
now
to
they're in
Bedford.
Bedford.
Yes.
And her father was a Democrat. Something
I don't
or
know.
not. Yeah.
I think he was. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
So another big story, of course, is Trump and this birthright citizenship. He's just gonna end it. He thinks he can just do
How
an
can he do
executive
that?
order.
It's a
Executive
constitutional
order.
amendment.
Hey, just write
Well,
it down.
It makes a
you
lot
know,
of sense.
Put the
though,
presidential
because
seal on it.
He said he was a nationalist, and they only want white people living in America, and so they want to clean up the world, clean up the country, and so they're going to take all the people who came here, and were born here, but their parents were not from here, and or if you were what is it? You can become an American citizen if you're.
What?
You're either born an American or you.
If you're born in the United States, within the borders of the United States, you're a United States
Yes,
citizen.
I
That's
know
the
that, but
14th Amendment to naturalize.
Just so he
hey,
wants to
wait a
remove
minute.
it all.
Two, because slaves,
Yeah.
there was question about whether they were citizens. They weren't citizens until they weren't officially citizens.
Right.
They had no standing in court after the Dred Scott decision.
So the national.
So anybody born, but
Kidnapped
Glenn,
them.
Glenn,
They were kidnapped.
Glenn, you're just this is just the babbling pornography of the
More pornography?
You're talking-
advertising driven
You're
cable
talking
TV.
about slaves, and that's not pornography.
Because, Glenn,
very
the
serious.
14th Amendment didn't apply to sovereign tribes of Native Americans. They were not U.S. citizens until 1922. So it's a little more complex. But I don't think there's any history of the 14th Amendment where they would have thought at the time when it was being considered, and you can watch that great movie Lincoln when they're talking about the slavery amendments and how they got through, that immigrants, children, would be disenfranchised. And of course, that was a big issue even in the Civil War because the Irish coming in. And there was no real thought of denying, if the Irish were here and had kids, their kids are U.S. citizens. Nobody really.
We are tearing our country apart.
But I don't think Trump
Who's
wasn't talking about making this retroactive, was he?
He can't do any. It's a
He
constitutional
can't even
amendment.
sign it into law.
Well, I know he can't do it.
It has
but
to go
He's nuts.
to a
man.
referendum because it's a constitutional question. He just
Yeah,
can't
but-
sign it.
Well, no, there's no referendum. It would be challenged by the Supreme Court, and then they would strike it down.
You would have to look for case law that somebody was denied citizenship. That was
Wouldn't
denied,
you
they've
have
been
to
in the
have
United
a
States.
constitutional?
Wait, Glenn, let's have a conversation with. You would have to find a case where somebody born in the United States was of foreign parents was denied citizenship. I've never heard of anything like that.
Actually,
you just can't.
It went to the Supreme Court for the Chinese, and it
Chinese
and,
Exclusion Act.
Yes, and it
Ah.
was not denied. They were born here and they were accepted.
Right,
It
because
went-
that was discussed in California, the Chinese.
It went to the Supreme Court. Yeah, it was the big thing in
Because
California.
Chinese, Asians were denied citizenship regularly.
Yeah.
But their children were citizens.
yes.
Right, so that's the precedent. So this is just
course.
ridiculous.
It's a political thing at the last minute.
It's ridiculous.
Scare the public.
And it's a very dangerous
It
one
is.
because
When you talk about Constitution, it's very scary.
well, the thing, well, I guess, but the thing is,
he talks about everything, but it's not even.
he makes
it's not even
everything scary.
possible. It's just ridiculous.
Makes everything scary, which is appropriate for Halloween. Oh, maybe that's what Trump was really
But not
trying to
Stalin.
He doesn't have to wear a
Right.
costume, does he?
No, he's just Trump.
I'm the least racist person you know.
That's why
Don't you have-
got to do
don't
that.
you have that
I'm the
somewhere?
least racist person. I don't know if I have.
We
if
should
I
be
have
nice
that.
now. He's still our president.
I don't think
Why
I.
should we be nice to our president when he's a jerk?
Yeah, Glenn.
We're not there at the White.
Well,
you know, if he was around, I would treat him.
He did meet his match yesterday. The
He
crowd
did?
wasn't
Was there
there.
wrestling?
The crowd wasn't there. What happened is he got 7,000 people in the background that they all shoved down the road, and they were all protesting. But there was nobody there. He didn't even make a speech because there was nobody to make a speech to.
Well, they had to reroute. I mean, he still went through the whole thing, but they had to. Because the protesters forced the motorcade to change routes because
Where was he?
they couldn't get through. He was
Freedom of
on his
speech.
on his way to Pittsburgh for the.
Yes.
He didn't end up speaking at all,
No,
right?
there was no crowd there. He was expecting a crowd, and it was the wrong crowd.
Well, let's be frank. Trump's no anti-Semite.
I don't think that he is. I think he just uses.
Talks a lot
I think
like
he
it,
just
but-
uses that as a
He's very philo-Semitic. He's always been known for that.
philo-Semitic. What's that?
Pro Jewish.
Oh, okay.
Pro-Israel. It's
Yeah.
always been that.
Yeah, well, I mean, he has Jews in his family, obviously.
But it's even before his daughter
The
married
money, the
Jerry and
money.
converted.
Follow the
Yeah.
money.
Yeah.
Doesn't he have property in Israel?
That's ridiculous what you just said. And anti-Semitic, but Quebecois often are anti-Semitic, weren't they? In the 1940s.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, the draft right in Quebec City in 1944.
Those were Americans that were doing that, not.
In Quebec City.
They were coming from America going to Quebec.
Sure, they were glad.
Or Montreal, actually, was more likely.
He's starting to become a disinformation agent. Like when he
Oh, no.
pretended he wasn't a songwriter the other day.
It's because he's not at the news desk. When he's at the news desk, he's the best newsman in the business. But take him away from the news desk, and he's
This
just.
just turned
No.
out to be a comedy show.
Now, Matt,
Well, we do enjoy a good laugh.
you've been following this more closely. Didn't
Yes.
the guy responsible for the massacre? Isn't he? He didn't like Trump. He was because Trump wasn't anti-Semitic.
Right.
But he was listening to him.
What does that have to do with anything?
Because he admitted that because Trump had not done enough after he had promised it, that he was going to take care of that
Why
caravan.
would Trump has never uttered an anti-Semitic comment in his life. So how could you link those two?
We're not talking about that. We're talking about the caravan.
We're talking about. We are.
It was the
Glenn
caravan.
Glenn is officially speaking for the entire country. What is the
Read the notes.
royal we? You're ready to be the Archbishop of Australia.
Read the notes.
What notes?
The ones he had on his Facebook page. Or no,
Did
it
you
was
read them?
Dad.
Did you read them?
We read them last night on the news.
Which news?
The emails were sent to the news people. Which news? All news.
Well, let's have Matt answer this. You're always very quick with your opinions.
I'm looking
really?
for.
Unlike poor me.
I'm looking to see if there's
I'm just trying
anything.
to understand.
I have a wit with
Because I
me.
think it would be very unfair to accuse him of inciting this particular
No,
thing.
you can't do
which
that.
seems to be people are doing.
You can't do
Yeah.
that. He did not pull the trigger. But the
Right,
language that he
I
uses,
agree.
He didn't use, but he doesn't use languages against Jews.
he doesn't
Or
have to.
He
He talks very violently. You know, I like a man that slaps another news reporter. You know, what he calls
here's-
slam dam.
A body slam, which
Body
is
slam.
not technically what he did. Wasn't really a body slam, but
course not.
people misuse that word, but or the media does specifically. No, but the thing is, so I think you're right. Trump hasn't said anything specifically anti-Semitic,
No, he hasn't.
but the larger issue that people make an issue is, comments like "very good people on both sides" and whatnot. People take that as a wink and a nod to the anti-Semites. But you're right. I mean, he's got Jews in his family, and
Plus, once you admit that you are a nationalist, people assume.
Oh, right, and there
'cause it
was
comes
that.
with it.
And when did that become that? When MSNBC and
long
CNN decided
that was a long-
was
that
the
wasn't-
meme that we're going to sell advertising this
That
year?
wasn't this year. That happened a long time. That's an old
Tell me.
story.
No,
Tell me
that was
about it.
no. The nationalist comment was just recently.
Yes, but
We're,
white nationalist is an old word. It didn't happen this year.
right. Well, he didn't say he was a white nationalist.
No,
to
he
be
didn't.
fair,
He's just a nationalist. But
I don't think he knows what
And
it
what
means.
is nationalism? Nationalism is often when did it suddenly become a pejorative, Glenn?
Is
Like
it-
as you're talking about.
is it any different than being a communism? It's got the ism in there.
You're here. I'm on, last Thursday. You guys are all this patriotic gore that I have to hear. That's not nationalism. Come on.
What
You
is
just
he
can't.
talking
You just can't redefine nationalism because the media needs to sell some advertising to the specific groups that it sells its advertising to. Because MSNBC and CNN have micro ratings.
Being a nationalist is not a new word.
No, but you know what? So what happens is
but the
people
idea that
take it
you're
as
saying-
code for white nationalism.
But that's just a thing of the last year or so.
Well, white nationalism is older than just 1 year or so. I'm
What-
sorry.
And not as it's applied to this.
Yeah, but when you say I'm a nationalist, people
No,
tend,
Glenn,
people
that's
tend
not
to,
true.
It is.
That,
Talk to people.
Sure.
Have you been
Talk
talking
what,
to the public?
Talk to what people, Glenn? Come
Talk
on.
to people.
Glenn, what I'm hearing is just feedback from the last year from a machine.
A
Of the
machine.
press that creates this
I guess that
hullabaloo
bus
to sell
tape was
newspapers
also a
and that.
machine, right?
So what you're
the
saying
bus
about
was
nationalism?
issuing, I can grab him
Here's a
anywhere because
guy-
I'm a...
Here's a guy on Thursday. Oh, the United States is a great nation. That's nationalism. So don't give me this crap about nationalism, or patriotism, which I find abhorrent. Although I defended my country and would do it again. But
So what are you?
I'm not a patriot.
You're
But
not a
when you're
nationalist.
talking about, you're a nationalist.
I
but
am?
Now that people are rewriting this word in the Orwellian sense to make it racist,
Mhm.
or if you're against immigration, or you want some limits on it, you're a racist. There's your political correctness gone amok. It's rewriting language into something it's not. And, we have a president who's very inexpert when he uses language. But this whole idea that, he's responsible for this attack, I beg to take a minority position.
No, I agree with you. I mean, you can't, because what happens, I
Reagan
think,
is
too.
a nationalist.
What happens, I think, too, that is dangerous. And I mean, I do think Trump's rhetoric is terrible, and there is violence and so forth. But,
Yeah, he's irresponsible.
Right. But I
'Cause
do.
he is the president of the United States.
But I do agree with you that there can be a danger of, and you see this show up in other ways in our culture too, of a lack of wanting people to take personal responsibility for their actions by blaming everything on something larger.
You do have to be careful with that.
Right.
I totally agree.
And it's like what you said earlier, Glenn. You got to blame the person who pulled the trigger ultimately.
That's right. You can't.
Yeah.
But words do matter.
Yes.
And as president, he should tone it down and not say, "Well, I'm going to tone it up."
Well, I agree with you there.
Oh, he's an idiot.
Right.
We
And that's,
agree in that.
Yeah, and to say that is not the same as blaming him for the shooting.
Well, if you want to talk about now that he's raised the temperature, and similarly
It's not getting hot out there.
Similarly to the environment that the Oklahoma City bombing, which some
Yes,
people claim
I've heard
that
that.
people like Rash Limbaugh and the right wing meme machine started
Limbaugh.
whipping the right wing bourgeoisie up into action. But in the First Amendment, it has to be a direct provocation into imminent lawless action.
That's correct.
But
right. I mean, you can't.
He's a jackass.
Well, legally, I mean, you can't incite violence, but then.
Well, he's the president of the United States. He's the first magistrate of the republic.
Right.
It doesn't mean you can break the laws.
But there's also different.
Says who?
There's also different ideas of what is and what is not inciting violence.
Don't you understand the court? That whole
I
concept
know.
is in
Kavanaugh
play.
will allow him to break the laws.
Glenn, the whole concept is in play now because until Nixon and the Warren Court, well, actually, it was the remnants of the Warren Court, the Burger Court, held Nixon to that standard that he wasn't above the law. But Kavanaugh and them, well, hell with it. And, maybe they could hold him striking down the 14th Amendment. Whatever that court says is law.
So are you ready for the Saturday massacre coming after the elections? He's
This is
still
gonna be
talking about.
There's going to be a massacre.
Oh, you know what I'm talking about. It's like Nixon.
Oh, I thought you were talking about a massacre
No,
because
no,
it's
no.
Halloween.
No. After the election, I said.
Oh, right. So that's not going to happen. What, you think Trump's going to start firing people after the election?
Oh, he's got a guy.
Who's he going to replace them with?
Oh, he's already got the third guy in hand.
He does?
Yes.
What are your sources?
Oh, come on. When Fox and MSNBC and CNN all say the same thing,
oh my,
and the White House says, yes, we're talking to him, it's pretty close.
Talking to who?
To the third guy in command of the
What's the third guy?
Attorney General's office. What's his name? You know his name.
Is that the
Jeff Sessions, and then it's the second in
Rod
command.
Rosenstein?
Yes, and who's the third one? That's who we want to pick.
Blanking on his name.
Yeah,
Buster Posey. No, he's a catcher with San
it's
Francisco
not
Giants.
It's not Bruce Orr, right?
No, it's not Bruce Orr.
He has to go through the Senate.
Yes, he does have to go through the Senate. You're correct.
And they've already told him they're not going to let him take out Sessions.
Yeah.
Well,
because it would be a nightmare to try to.
Who's the senator from
Well, the
Virginia?
Republicans are going to keep the Senate, they say, but the House is lost.
Who's the senator
That's what I've been predicting.
from
Yeah.
Virginia?
Glenn, we've had plenty of trouble with you and your senators from Virginia, and it goes to no good. We've
Who is
gone
the
to
senator
Spock.
from Virginia? The big guy. Was a close
How
friend?
about the little? Are we
He was-
talking about Miss Lindsay now, from South Carolina?
No.
You often mistake.
No, I do
You're
not mistake.
Southerners. Oh,
I'm
yes,
sorry.
You do.
What's his name? He was a good friend of. He spoke at the
it's Miss Lindsey Graham.
he spoke
South
at the
Carolina.
funeral in Arizona.
It's Lindsey Graham.
Are you sure?
Lindsey Graham, yes, Lindsey Graham.
Virginia,
Lindsey-
West Virginia, and you were trying to figure out who the
Well,
hell
he
are
is.
you talking about?
Is he not from
And somebody
Virginia?
calls in.
Yeah.
It's
Is
Lindsey
he not
Graham.
the senator from Virginia?
No, he's from South Carolina.
Okay, well,
Maybe if you
so
were,
I made a mistake.
maybe if you
But
weren't,
the point is
maybe
this.
if you'd been born in the United
Lindsey-
States, you'd know that.
Lindsey
Somebody
Graham.
Canadian.
Lindsey Graham said not too long ago, last month, that it was probably time the president should have who he wants in there. He did say that.
Well, that's because he wants the job. This is my
well,
Lindsey
he doesn't
Graham
want it
impression.
anymore, does he?
I
Well,
think he
did
does.
It. He did it one time. I
I
don't know if he
think
still does.
I think Lindsey Graham would love to be your Attorney General of these United States.
He'd be above the clouds, wouldn't he?
Above the clouds. I don't know what you mean by that, Glenn R.J. Ouellette.
He'd be flying on thin air.
Would he fudge it?
I don't know.
I don't know what you guys are talking about.
He's dirty.
Who's dirty? Lindsey Graham?
6 and 7 chance Republicans keep control of the Senate.
Yeah.
That's the Senate, yeah.
Yeah, but the House is...
House, they have its exact opposite, 6 and
Yeah.
7, the Dems.
Yeah, no doubt.
Should be quite a fight between the Senate and the House.
So you think Trump's gonna fire who? You think he's gonna fire Mueller and Rosenstein?
He's going to get somebody with a big mustache.
And is
John
the,
Bolton?
Is the lawyer
Will be the new AG? Is that what you're saying?
Kelly will go. It's
What?
time.
Let's see. What Republican lawyers have big mustaches?
Well, who's the one that...
Oh, there are a few.
Did he finally...
Big mustache.
Did the guy finally leave? The guy who was in charge, the lawyer in the White House that was in charge of getting Kavanaugh?
Don McGahn, yes.
Is he still there?
No, he's gone.
He's gone
He
now.
finally left, or he's leaving. I think
he's
he's...
Ty Cobb.
Oh, I forgot about him.
Yeah, he's going to bring his mustache back.
Wow.
No, he's actually retired. I guess.
Oh, okay. He does have a big mustache.
He does have a big mustache, and he's related to Ty Cobb himself, the Georgia Peach.
Oh, I just
Some
assumed
people
he
said
was
the greatest hitter ever.
They're actually related. Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh,
Wow.
yeah.
Mm.
You don't get a name like Ty Cobb by not being related to Ty Cobb.
Did you two guys go
Although
to
there are
the...
John Hopwoods out there,
Did-
J-O-N. too.
Right.
Did you
I
two
get credit
guys...
for them all.
Did you two guys go to the parade today in Boston?
What guys?
I don't enjoy parades.
You never did.
I don't. Yeah,
I
that's
remember,
right.
remember you saying that before.
Good memory.
Yeah.
I don't want the parade just passing me by.
Not even the World
Just passing
Series?
by me.
What
That's
do you,
from
what
a
do you
song.
mean putting me in the same genus as this Yeti over here?
Yeah.
Oh, you're calling him a Yeti. He is a Yeti.
I'm a proud
Two
Yeti
T-
American.
He admits
Two
it.
T's and one T.
That's why I don't. I've never been
T's
in
and
any
not
adult
two T's.
films because I'm so hairy. It's impossible for me to be nude.
Well, then how did Ron Jeremy succeed?
He's a bear.
He was a Yeti.
No. That's a rumor. That's
is
a
he
rumor.
Is he 2 T's or not 2 T's?
He's a 1T and he's actually human.
2 T's.
That's
or
a
not 2
vicious
T's?
rumor about
So
him.
he's a
That is the
Yet
question.
and not a Yeti, right?
Then
He's
there's
a-
that third
He's
word.
a Yeti. Third word. Oh, that's we don't say that word around here.
I would hope not.
You're gonna get suspended again. We do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you start throwing that word around. I mean, Glenn says it sometimes in French, and even
Glenn-
I
that's,
do not.
even that's
Glenn's got a-
offensive.
Glenn's got
I
a
do
mustache.
not.
Do you consider yourself that you have a mustache or a beard?
I have both.
He looks like a full beard.
Oh, so you straddle both sides of the
Oh
fence?
my God! Such a dirty. Get your mind out of the gutter, boy.
How are the bathroom wars coming along?
What bathroom boards?
The bathroom wards? I said bathroom wars.
Oh, I thought you said
wards. I thought you said board.
What, do you have a ward down in the bathroom?
I actually think he thought he did too. I think he
Yeah.
did. I think we're
Wars.
gonna have to check the tape.
Yeah, really.
I think
Be
you said
careful
boards.
what we say. Wars.
Wars.
Oh, I thought you said wars.
You want to
like
be really careful
Robin
about.
is,
You want to be.
Batman's
The
ward.
bathroom wars are right on schedule.
You guys want to be really careful about what you say because you don't want any audio of your voice being used in a pornographic film in the future.
But Glenn said they're going to be reopening the outhouses that are located down in Middle Earth.
I never said that.
Middle
I
Earth?
thought you did for some big
No.
celebration.
Can you get to
something.
Middle Earth
No,
from
we
here?
want that to happen as an
in
event.
the crappers over at Memorial
As
Park,
an
whatever
event,
they
you
call
cannot
it.
you cannot spend $75,000 of taxpayers' money to upgrade an underground bathroom and have it closed for the next 20 years. It
What?
makes no sense.
Don't they store stuff there?
No, it's called a museum, but it's never open.
Wait, I'm
There's
confused.
a museum of crappers. Public crapper museum in the city of Manchester.
So what is there?
Does John Clayton know about John Clayton?
Is there a tunnel that
who's
leads to Middle Earth?
No,
I'm confused
bigger
about
than
that.
the Great Pumpkin.
There's a door
Oh.
you unlock, and you got to get down the stairs. There's no elevator.
Have you
so
ever?
It goes all the way to
unlocked
Middle.
door?
It goes all the way to
No, I
Middle
haven't.
Earth.
What's
Middle Earth?
beyond the unlocked door? That sounds like a good title for a porn film.
It's
Well,
a-
that-
it's a-
yes, it does.
It's a set of stairs, John, that goes down to the basement.
Down.
Ooh, it is Halloween, isn't it?
It's kind of like a Johnny Cash song, huh?
Ooh.
Go
It is,
down,
yeah.
down,
Oh,
down,
yeah.
into a ring of fire.
Oh my goodness, that
That's
sounds
prob-
like hell.
It's probably yeah.
Is that a euphemism
We
for
might
hell?
find some ex-politicians living down there.
Oh.
When's the last time you were down there?
I haven't been down there for years. I was down there when they got rid of all the
That's not what I
Christmas-
heard.
When they got rid of the tens of thousands of dollars of Christmas decorations that were all rotten because of the humidity, and then they put them in a truck, and I filmed it,
What,
and
did
they
they
told
spoil?
me, you can't film that, and I did, and I put it on my show, and
Too
it went to
ba-
the dump.
It's too bad. You might have got if they had arrested you. You got a $275,000.
I'm not into money.
You are.
You're not into money?
isn't everything.
Well, you know,
Well.
how do we know there actually is a museum there if you haven't seen it?
It is most things.
Have you ever seen pictures of this museum?
We know they spent the $75,000
Yeah,
on
we
a museum.
We know that they replaced it. The doors.
It's
everything-
named after somebody. I know that.
I'm
named
still.
after John Hopwood.
Wait,
No.
hang on. I'm still really confused. Is the museum in Middle Earth?
No, listen. There are
Yeah,
two,
it is.
There are two
Oh.
sets of bathrooms at Veterans Park.
Okay.
That's
the regular
Veterans
ones,
Park?
yeah, and the
Oh.
ones that are underneath the ground. And
Where's the regular ones?
behind the Welcome Center.
So it's
Oh,
like
that's where I first met Ted Gatzis. He was stretched out because he'd eaten too many French fries. That's a true story.
Oh.
You met him in the bathroom?
No, he was in the place where Welcome.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because there's
yeah.
a crapper
yeah.
in there, and he was stretched out. He was very friendly. Who knew we would become enemies like 2 years later,
Right.
or 5 years?
Well,
You
whatever
should
it was.
still become friends.
actually a lot of us could have predicted it. But so is one of the bathrooms for hobbits? I'm really confused
No.
about this Middle Earth thing.
It's on a historical.
Hysterical hobbits. They had to close the place
It's on
down.
the nationalist
They're
registry.
the worst. The Nationalist Registry.
There's nationalists. There's nationalists.
Trust
God,
you guys.
and they're locked up.
Trump's a
When did they come out?
nationalist.
When Trump's
He
around?
probably is.
Yes.
And
What
they
the hell is
they
this?
they
This is very
upgraded it.
confusing.
They upgraded it. Cost us $75,000, and the doors are locked.
What, some hysterical hobbits down there?
There's nothing down
But
there.
there's a jail.
other than an empty bathroom.
Well,
Maybe they ought to turn it into a jail.
hobbits are people too, or are they?
You might be. Ted might send you there first.
Not me, baby. Not me.
Oh.
I am a good citizen.
I was scowled
Sorry,
at
I
that.
shouldn't have said that.
How's the Boy? I can't do that anymore. The Boy Scout thing. Oh, it's better. Usually, like this one's all gone.
What's the
Arthritis.
Boy Scout thing?
Well, the thing you do when you're a Boy Scout.
I was never a Boy Scout. That's
You
something
were
I
not?
Nope, that's something I and James T. Kirk have in common.
You weren't a Girl Scout either.
I want to know
Well,
what happened
true.
to the Manchester Crapper Museum. I want to know. $75,000. Did it go down the drain?
Oh.
No, they
Did
spent
it go down the toilet?
They
I think is
spent
what
it-
you
Spent
mean.
it on what?
to upgrade the toilet.
To who got the contract?
Well, I don't remember that, but it's done.
Why would you spend money on a museum about public lavatories that probably doesn't even exist?
Well, it does exist though.
I didn't know
You've
that-
actually seen
The
this
bathrooms
museum.
do exist. Of
What, do
course.
they have exhibits? Like, here's the toilet
I
paper
just told
from
you
Charmin,
they're
Mr.
closed.
Whipple.
They repaired, they locked, and they're closed till they need another 75,000, maybe 20 years from now.
Why would they spend $75,000 on that?
Because they got it from the federal government. It's still taxpayers' money.
But just to appease a bunch of hobbits?
No, no.
What are they here as
Hobbits have
refugees?
nothing to do with it. You know, it's 5 o'clock. It's time to go. You guys are getting too childish. What hobbits are you talking about? There's no hobbits.
We're just concerned about...
Concerned about the hobbits?
Well, you're concerned about, homeless people having a place to take a dump, and that's true.
Most
You're
hobbits
an
are
activist
homeless.
trying to help people
You
and
know,
for the
I'm
public
talking
health.
about the regular ground level bathrooms that they want to turn into an office.
Well, why can't they open up the downtown museum and let people take a dump?
Because you need to have a guard there 24/7.
Well,
In this
I'm
day and
sure
age.
one of our aldermen has a relative that needs a job.
All right, that's too much out of my
Well, why don't I...
Too close to the truth, right?
out of my league. That's not nice.
Well, it's the top of the hour. Why don't I'll play a song.
Fine. There's always solutions. to
Play a
problems.
Halloween song.
I'm going to. I'm going to play a little bit of Alice Cooper. This is called I Love the Dead. This is appropriate on Halloween. And then we'll come back with more...
Scoopy.
How do you pronounce it?
Samhain.
Samhain?
Yeah.
That's really how you say it?
Some people do.
Oh, okay.
And some people don't.
All right.
And some people talk about museums that don't seem to exist.
Oh, well, I'm sorry, but it doesn't exist.
It's like out of a Borges
You should talk to
story.
John Clayton.
Spooky.
Well, we have him right here.
There you go.
We will, we can do a mind meld with him in the second hour.
Oh my God, this is getting out of the world, out of this world.
Very exciting. All right.
It is
here's
Halloween.
Here's some Alice. Happy
Solid.
Halloween,
Have a
everybody.
good Halloween, everybody.
By the way, there's more show coming up. By saying that, Glenn made it sound like the show's over.
Well,
it's
I
not.
have to leave.
Oh,
What
you
you
have to.
talking about? It's
You don't have to
crazy.
leave.
Are you telling me that that's the truth? What crazy?
I love the dead before they're cool. The bluing flesh for me to hold. Cadaver eyes upon me see nothing. I love the dead before they rise. No farewells, no goodbyes. I never even knew your now rotting face. While friends and lovers mourn your silly grave, I have other uses for you, darling.
I also wanted to.
everybody. Welcome. We are well into hour number 2. Matt Connarton, Unleashed in the Afternoon, live here on WMNH 95.3 FM. Emanating from, from downtown Manchester, New Hampshire. Of course, streaming at WMNHradio.org.
What do you mean uptown?
What?
Uptown?
Did I say uptown?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
You said uptown.
Are you sure I said uptown?
Yeah.
Uptown girl.
I think you said uptown.
Maybe I was thinking of, in the back of my mind,
Ouellette?
maybe I was thinking of the Uptown Tavern where I used to do a lot of shows back in the day, up the street. Downtown Manchester, New Hampshire. And, of course, we're at streaming at WMNHradio.org. We're on Channel 97 Comcast and on Facebook Live. And we have a call. Hi, welcome to Matt Connarton Unleashed in the Afternoon. Who's this?
Hey, Matt Connarton, Derek Relaford, first time, long time.
Hey, Derek, what's up, man? How are you?
Pretty good. I was wondering if I could have a few minutes of your time to talk about a project I'm working on.
Absolutely, I would love it.
Okay, a girl in my hometown named Suzanne Johnson. She was adopted. Her parents, Milton and Barbara Johnson, brought her home on Halloween Day when they first adopted her. When she was 14 years old, she went missing from my small town of about 2,000 people. And 15 days later, they found her body. And it's been 49 years. It was March 4th, 1971 when she went missing. And they found her on the 19th. But it's been 49 years, and she's had little to no luck with law enforcement figuring anything out. So I just wanted to tell the world that there's a page called Justice for Suzanne Johnson. And we're just looking for any support we can get as far as trying to help. Her mom's 88 years old. She's spry, and she just wants a little bit of closure. You know,
sure.
Her all of her children are passed away. Her husband's passed away. She's just all on her own. So I just wanted to put that out there if I could.
Absolutely. And is that a Facebook page, Justice for?
Yeah.
Okay. And say the.
It might be a group, actually. I think it's a group.
Okay.
Or no, it's a page. I'm not sure. I should know these things, it being my page. But
and say the name again. I want to make sure we get it.
Justice for Suzanne Johnson.
Justice for Suzanne Johnson. Okay. Okay, cool. And feel free to drop that in the Facebook live chat too, if you want.
Okay.
So our listeners online can see it. And cool. All right. No, I appreciate your. I just see Peter White from the Morning Show with Peter White joined the Facebook live chat. And by the way, Derek, feel free to send more music too. You've been sending us great stuff. That band Trevino there that you're in is really good. And what else did you send us? You sent something else too.
Oh, I sent you a track by a band my brother recorded called Guns on Mars.
Oh, that's right. I remember playing that on the show, and I love that. That's really good too. And
thank you for playing that stuff. That's awesome. I have a bunch of buddies that saw it, and I have a bunch of people that want you to play music. I didn't want to flood you with it, but everybody really thought that was really cool that you played it.
Oh, cool. No, I'm glad. Yeah, and I don't mind at all. I mean, you've got good taste in tunes. You haven't steered us wrong yet. So yeah, feel free. Anything that you want to send along, go for it, Derek. I would love it.
Appreciate it, man. Well, thanks for taking my call. I just wanted to put that out there. Justice for Suzanne Johnson on Facebook.
Okay.
And there's one recording that it's kind of a podcast, but I didn't want to make it like a murder porn podcast because I have more. So it's just basically the first episode is just the very first conversation I ever had with her mother.
Oh, okay.
And she just sort of tells the story. So that's the first piece of audio we've released it's called the Elkhart tapes. I'm from Elkhart, Kansas. But again, I appreciate you letting me talk about it, and I'll keep listening, man. I'm a stay-at-home dad, so I catch your show pretty much every day.
Derek, we appreciate it so much. Thank you, my friend.
Yeah, thanks, buddy.
All right, you got it, brother. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye. All right, the great Derek Evan Relaford, who he's usually in the Facebook live chat, but finally got to speak with him.
Is he on IPM Nation?
Yes.
Oh, he has his own show.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
He's absolutely. So, boy, Glenn got kind of worked up there, huh?
He does when it comes to the 14th Amendment because, that is what enabled the pornography business. And, it's always been a sore point ever since the Studio 54 fiasco.
Oh, right. Yes. There's an incident that we can't even describe on FM radio that is actually very embarrassing.
There are limits to the First Amendment.
Yes, there certainly are.
Particularly, when you get that body. In front of world-class celebrities, no doubt. Let's just let it drop.
So in addition to his comments on birthright citizenship, Trump is also saying he may deploy 15,000 troops to the border.
15? I thought it was just 5.
5,000? No,
is it? Or am I mixing up my stories? A guy from Derry with the 5 Gs.
Hey, it's Trump. He doesn't do anything small, if you know what well, Stormy Daniels did say otherwise, but generally he doesn't do anything small. Boy, I bet if he made a film with Stormy, he would have, much like our friend Frank, he would have been dissatisfied with how his scenes came out. You think?
I don't even want to speculate on that.
I don't either, and I don't know why that idea even invaded my mind.
A former flame of mine said, John, just be positive.
That's good advice.
Be positive.
Yeah.
All that expletive deleted happening, you're up there, you just look at it, just have fun.
Right. Yeah. Glass half full.
Well, she didn't say that.
Oh.
I would think he's looking at the glass full.
Just see the glass is full. But what if it's full of poison?
Oh, it'd take a lot more than poison to kill old Hop.
Ah, there you go. I like your attitude. I like that. That's a positive attitude. Even when you're talking about a glass of poison, that's good.
I got a brain clot.
You do?
Yeah, they call it an occlusion.
Oh.
Did you ever see Joe versus the Volcano? I like it. Everybody else says it sucks.
You mean Volcano?
Volcano.
You said Volcano.
Volcano.
Okay.
Volcano. Joe versus the Volcano.
No, I never,
With Meg Ryan.
Yeah.
Multiple
and
roles.
Tom Hanks.
Yeah, he's really good.
I never saw it. It just didn't appeal to me.
Well, it got egregious reviews, but I like it.
Is that how you feel? Like you feel like you're battling a volcano?
Well, he had a brain clot.
Oh, okay. So what is a brain clot? Like, what is an occlusion? What
don't know.
Does it mean?
I'll find out. I'll be finding out.
You haven't Googled it?
Yeah, I have, but that never that just makes things worse when you do that.
Does it really? Okay.
Someday, I need that. Did you ever see the TV series House? After all these years, I gotta find the guy that's gonna figure out what's wrong.
Right. Yeah. Wouldn't it be great if the actor that played him actually could do that?
Well, he's actually a comedic actor, and like when my brother who lives in England came over, he was surprised because he hadn't seen House.
Oh, right.
At this comedic actor, he was in Blackadder.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, he was.
But that's part of the charm of because he is.
Yeah.
Basically a comedian.
Yeah. I forget his name now.
Hugh Laurie.
Hugh Laurie. Wow. Very good.
Yeah.
He said, Trump said today.
Who, Hugh Laurie?
No, Trump. He might deploy 15,000 service members to the U.S. southern border to stop a caravan of migrants from entering the country.
Where'd this caravan come from? Trump campaign headquarters?
Well, it is pretty effective at whipping up the base, isn't it? They're all they're all a quiver.
Just like it has all the earmarks of a setup.
See, now you're getting conspiratorial, just like
it'll make us some money.
Well, that's true. Well,
if
now that
a money-making venture.
Now that Alex Jones has been deplatformed,
debagged.
There is a debag. I don't think there's any debagging that guy. I'm kidding, of course. I actually have a strange respect for Alex Jones because
God knows you never stopped talking about him.
Well, I
never even knew who he was.
I haven't been talking about him lately because there's nothing to talk about. It's like he's disappeared. He told someone in an interview he's ready to die
for his country.
I think just in general, he feels like he's done his bid for king and country.
So he's a narcissist that needs a fix.
He's ready to die. He did grow a beard.
Did he grow a mustache?
Well, it's a full beard. Yeah, he's not Amish.
Okay. Well, you have to explain these things. I'm, a rather ordinary person.
Oh, right.
Head.
Thank you, Derek. Derek posted the link to that Facebook group in the Facebook live chat. For anyone listening who can't get to Facebook, well, you can always check it out later, but it's facebook.com/justice for Suzanne Johnson. So very easy to remember. And Suzanne, for the spelling impaired, is Suzanne. It says here, Trump vowed, Oh, here's what he actually said. This is a quote from Trump. As far as the caravan is concerned, our military is out. We have about 5,000. We'll go up to anywhere between 10 and 15,000 military personnel on the border patrol. Oh, I'm sorry, on top of border patrol, and everybody else at the border, unquote. Trump vowed the U.S. would not allow people from the very dangerous, quote unquote, caravan to cross the border, even though many say they plan to seek asylum at legal ports of entry, which is permitted under the law. He said, quote, nobody is coming in. We're not allowing people to come in, unquote. Let's just go ahead and peel that plaque off the Statue of Liberty. Trump's latest comments came just 2 days after he sent 5,200 active duty personnel to the border to assist Border Patrol in responding to the shrinking caravan, which is still hundreds of miles away from the U.S. Such a deployment could outstrip the number of U.S. service members in Afghanistan, who number 14,000. Trump has made a dizzying array of immigration proposals in the days leading up to the midterm elections, when control of the House and the Senate are up for grabs. The president has sought to make the issue the centerpiece of his closing message for GOP candidates, focusing on the caravan and suggesting he might act on his own to end the constitutional right of birthright citizenship. Trump said he is not fear-mongering at all on the issue of immigration, even as he accused Democrats of allowing 25 to 30 million undocumented immigrants into the country. That is more than double the number of undocumented immigrants the U.S. government estimates are living in the U.S.
And what does that mean, though?
What do you mean?
What does that mean, that the U.S. government estimates that? Why should I trust the U.S. government on that?
Well, but do you trust Trump more?
I would say that from my experience in California, which has been overwhelmed. What do they say? There's 40 million people there now. When I was there in '89, there was 29 million. There must be 45 million. Who knows how many there are? I've seen
that's true.
in
You can't
a generation
know. Yeah.
the overwhelming of a state by illegal immigration.
Yes,
and it has consequences. It has consequences on housing. It's simple. When the government talks about all these estimates and stuff, where's Dave Ridley when you need him?
I know, right? But I'd rather take that number over anything Trump just spews out.
I think Trump is right. I think Trump's right.
You think Trump's right? Wow.
But you see it with your own eyes. The overwhelming pressures being put on California.
Yeah.
And we hear this is what's happening all over the world. The population, what is it, 8 billion? The pressures of the people. Naturally, they want to go to a place where there's more. This has gone on throughout all recorded history. But it's put intense pressure on countries and people. We have this triumphalist story that's put out by the press and the media,
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the blue skies and everything. We're a nation of immigrants, this, that, and the other thing. But there's real consequences to all the high levels of immigration.
Yes.
There is. There are economic consequences. I've read...
some would say they're very positive consequences.
There's never any negative ones we're going to talk about because we'll be accused of racism.
Oh, that's good.
The best I can see is possibly 90% of all the economic activity created by illegal immigration goes to the top 1%. The middle class wind up paying the taxes on the people that are going to work for less money. They're going to break the unions and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Put a break. All economic growth isn't positive. I mean, we could have a Superfund site. You could have the nuke plant could go up and create about $40 billion worth of activity.
Right.
I could look at there's all plastic all over the Merrimack Valley, south of Manchester.
Mm-hmm.
There's all sorts of economic activity. That's all part of the GDP. When you have to clean the stuff up, if you even do.
Right.
The state's an awful weird state when it comes to any type of environmental regulation or any regulation. The union leader had an article about a nursing home, a veteran in a nursing home. And are there any regulations in the state of New Hampshire? Live free or die, baby.
Live free or die, indeed.
It depends on what what you want for a country. If you got a big Ponzi scheme idea of a country, you got to keep the people coming in.
Trump also said immigration is a very, very big and very dangerous, a real dangerous topic. Democrats have let immigration in our country get out of control.
It's both sides.
Well, of course.
I've been talking about the Republicans. Pete Wilson, mayor of San Diego, then a U.S. senator, then came back as governor. He was always inveigling against illegal immigrants from Mexico, and then doing everything in his power to make sure that they would come, because there would be no penalties on the employer.
Defense Secretary James Mattis asked earlier if the movement of troops to the border was a political diversion for the midterms. Said the Pentagon does not do stunts, quote unquote, to use his term. Fred just dropped, Fred Bonig, of course, from thedailyripple.org, just dropped a link in the Facebook live chat from the New York Times. Trump administration rejects study showing positive impact of refugees. Well, that doesn't surprise me at all. This is actually from last year, but...
the same New York Times that you think is some left-wing rag, and in 1981, during the W tax cuts, came out for them and had the heartbreaking story of a physician who only made the $350,000 a year and had 5 daughters. How is he going to afford those weddings? The whole idea and the rhetoric of all this stuff is different stockholders in USA Incorporated bitching at each other. Well, the average person gets the shaft. We're just rubes to be shocked, hustled, conned.
The Shaft, is that a reference to earlier?
Well, that was a bar down at the time when you were at Studio 54.
Well, that's true. It says here, Trump administration officials under pressure to provide a rationale for reducing the number of refugees. Remember when Trump said, we're going to cut that way down, allowed into the U.S., rejected a study by the Department of Health and Human Services that found that refugees brought in $63 billion more in government revenues over the past decade than they cost.
And then you have to pay for their kids, because that was the hustle in California. You could screw them, give them a royal screwing, but then the kids, they're U.S. citizens. They are on the dole, and they're on the meter. Yeah, you can take into your restaurant the illegal and screw them. The straw boss, they got the identity. If one runs away, you fire them, it takes over the identity. You screw them. You exploit them. But then there's the other generation. This was all talked about in the 80s. I first got to California in the 80s. It came true. Be able to predict what's going to happen, usually, I guess that's part of the scientific method.
Right.
When you just start overwhelming a place. Environmentally, California has no water. If L.A. hadn't put in the L.A. County, the water conservation efforts of 1991, the whole place would be reft of, there would be no water anymore. It's just, all this, once again, it's all this capitalist blue skies triumphalism. Oh, yeah, there's no bad economic growth. There's no, sure, let's overwhelm a city. Let's just, and the pressure's put on people. There's so much anxiety in the United States. My sister had a job her whole life, although she got, when they started doing she worked for a huge company. She was able to retire at 42 with a buyout. Then they bring her back. But when I was after the Army, after 1990, the whole idea of being in one job for the rest of your life or something, where you're not constantly going through layoffs, reorganizations, mergers, and that. By the time you're 40 or 50, but you have no rights anymore in the United States. There's no such thing as age discrimination anymore because of our wonderful Supreme Court. The anxiety of not knowing what's going to happen.
Sure.
So you have all these people out here. It's like, Carol Robert, I was talking about homeless people on the morning show. She says, well, they got all these jobs that need, service jobs, which, as we know, the minimum wage has never gone up. But the thing is, There's these kids. They come out with what, $200,000 in debt. Hey, I can work as a barista the rest of my life. Hey, there's a real career for you.
So Fred is challenging what you were saying earlier in the Facebook live chat.
Of course he's going to.
He says, "Bull crap. That's not factual.
Yes, it is.
The second generation was more likely to go to college."
In what? In what?
And there is a link in
Story
here. There is a link in here. theconversation.com.
And what does college mean since like 1975?
What do you mean?
What does college mean?
What do you mean? What does it mean?
My father went to high school in 1943. A high school degree, not everybody got them.
Right.
Was something that you were educated in a certain way.
Mhm.
I've been told BA's worthless. A person comes with a BA. What does that mean? Everybody gets a degree. I mean, these are diploma factories we have.
Well, but on the other side of that, though, you've got a lot of conservatives who are sort of anti-education, who actually are trying to discourage people from going to college, saying it's a waste of money.
It is a waste of money. You could make more money in a trade.
I think it all depends.
Generally.
Well, I think people kind of oversimplify it. I think it all depends on what you're going to get into.
Right, because everybody's just a millionaire, Hey, we're all millionaires, We just, all you have to do is go to a jackass community college, and with a little grit and gumption, you're going to be a millionaire too.
No, you're going to be in debt the rest of your life. But I think it depends on what you want to do with your life.
You can be in debt for the rest of your life. We have $15 trillion worth of consumer debt.
Yeah.
This isn't the country I was born into, where you get 4.5% on a dollar in a savings account because they blew all the savings banks and the SNLs out.
Fred says, second-generation Americans, the 20 million adult U.S.-born children of immigrants.
And what's your source?
Are substantially better off than immigrants themselves on key measures.
Illegal immigrants?
Of
Illegal.
Let me finish reading this.
Illegal?
I don't know. Let me finish reading it. Of socioeconomic attainment, according to a new Pew Research Center analysis of U.S. Census Bureau data. They have higher incomes, more are college graduates and homeowners.
Then what?
And fewer live in poverty. In all of these measures, their characteristics resemble those of the full U.S. adult population.
Then what?
I don't know.
What's the benchmark on this?
I don't know. Probably have to read the study.
And of course, there'd never be a bias in that.
There is a political. I'm sorry. I mean, there is a link in there, rather, in the Facebook live chat from the Pew Research Center. Second generation Americans, a portrait of the adult children of immigrants.
But I'm talking about illegal immigrants.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about people coming over in the visas in the tech industry to California and that.
Yeah, I don't know. You might want to click the link and read it later or something.
I live in a state that is overwhelmed.
Yeah.
I can't live there anymore. The amount of taxes I would have to pay are outrageous. It's like no middle class unless you've been grandfathered in on, what was it, Prop 13, and then they had another prop where you could give your house to your kids so they could actually live and stay living in California as a middle class person and not get extirpated socially and economically. You know what a house costs in Sunnyvale now?
I have no idea.
Geez, a 1,400 square foot ranch, about $2 million plus, because
wow.
they put the saucer down there. Remember, my father was trying to get a house down there. He was
the saucer?
Complaining it was $250,000. This is in the early 90s.
What's the saucer?
Microsoft.
Oh, why is it called?
Or is that Apple? The saucer. It's a big building.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. I didn't know what you meant by the saucer.
But, I thought we have this wonderful narrative that's never challenged. That immigration, unrestricted immigration, everything. It's just all win-win. I've never could understand.
What do you mean it's never?
I could never understand the scenario of win-win.
But what do you mean?
How can you have winners without a loser?
But what do you mean it's never challenged?
It's not challenged.
Republicans are challenging it constantly, every day, all day.
Who listens to those asses?
What do you mean? The voters.
It's not an intelligent conversation.
That's how we ended up with Trump as president. Demagoguing against immigrants.
And you don't think there's any economic pressures put on people?
Oh, I'm not saying that.
I know my sister had pressure put on by people with what's it called, the HB1 visa. I mean, this is stuff people, that's life as lived by people, and it's not anecdotal evidence either. It's like when I remember we had Jim over here. I was talking about they broke the unions in San Diego, and they broke the illegal immigration. you were able to break the custodial unions in Los Angeles, which were primarily African American. And there is, I have the research and stuff. That's stuff that happened. But of course, every African American shouldn't be in a custodial union. They should just be a millionaire. You should just whatever.
We have a call. Hi, welcome to Matt Connarton Unleashed in the Afternoon. Who's this?
It's your old pal Fred.
Fred Bonig from thedailyripple.org. How are you, sir?
Well, I'm just ducky. I'm a white male in America. I mean, what better could it be?
But such a white privilege is so pervasive, right?
I think you and John are going to argue.
I mean, it's such bull stuff. But it's such bull crap. It's just memes put out by a machine.
I think it's a pretty good deal being a white male in America.
Is it?
I think so.
Is it?
Oh, there's no benefit to that? You mean everybody's the same in this country?
The idea that
John?
you're saying that there's there's some benefit to being white, I'd say that's not uniform. I'd say economics trumps any color advantage.
Well, I don't know. I think Johnson said it best.
Which
said,
Johnson?
Yeah,
Marvin
when he said about, if as long as the poorest white man feels he's better off than a black man, he's okay with life, and that was President Johnson said that.
But that's a different type of thing. That's apples versus oranges. That's
you got to admit, John, that the fact that the game was set up for white people. I mean, after World War II,
it's set up for white people. My father had to work in that.
Oh, was he a white guy?
Here.
Was your dad a white guy?
Okay. This is crap. That's put out. It's like, where do you get up this fantasy? But you don't think white working people were treated like crap?
Oh no, but they were treated better than the people who weren't white.
And what kind of argument is that? What type of argument is that?
Well, it's the kind of argument that says that my argument is true. If you're white, you're better off than somebody who's not.
So when white people are shot in Detroit during the riots, during that, or they're shot in a mining in 1914,
But John,
what do you think happened?
But John, don't you think there's a difference between saying that white people have the better deal? A difference between
what deal?
Hang on,
you
let me finish. A difference between saying that and saying that that nothing bad ever happens to white people. I mean, there is a difference there. Nobody's saying nothing bad ever happens to white people. But statistically, aren't white people better off? Economically in the macro?
What you're talking about is manipulating a language in the use of a power and to sell a scenario. Here's
an example, John. Here's an example.
No, in a way, your argument is a cognate of the racist argument. All this idea that white people are all this. I grew up in a place that was all white. You think there wasn't oppression here? You don't think a cop put a billy club to you here? Or in L.A., if you were long hair? The cops in L.A. were sons of...
Right.
And they'd put the billy to you.
Well, let's let Fred jump back in. Go ahead, Fred.
Okay, John. Listen, it's a simple thing. This is simply how it works.
Simple.
Let him talk.
No, but that's the whole thing. It's simple. It's simple. I've heard all this too long because it's not simple.
John, are you gonna let me talk, or are you just gonna talk over me?
I already know what you're gonna say.
So what am I gonna say, John?
Well, I don't know what Fred's gonna say, so I want to hear. Go ahead, Fred.
I already do.
Okay. What I'm gonna say is, after World War II, when the soldiers came back, places like Levittown, right? Levittown,
I know
where they were able to buy.
New York.
You know where that is, right? Okay.
Yeah, there's
then
not just one.
They were able to buy homes there, right? But black people weren't allowed to buy homes in those places. But you know what the nice thing about Levittown is? The value of their homes went up. So they were able to transfer wealth to their children. And in places like that, and things like that, created wealth transfer in this country through white people having the ability to buy homes, to be able to. Their neighborhoods were able to grow because they were excluding other people, and they did.
Houses.
So they had an advantage there, and so they were able to get.
Were allowed to have
Johnny, when I'm talking, you got to wait till I'm done.
Only white people were allowed to own houses.
Let Fred finish. Let Fred finish this point.
Come on.
You don't have to agree, but let him finish this point. Go ahead, Fred.
Well, John, when you can factually come up with an answer to how...
So black people never owned property after World War II.
John.
What you're saying is bull.
Well, hey, Matt, I'll let you go because John doesn't know how to have a discussion without talking over somebody. I'll talk to you later, boss.
All right, Fred.
It's ridiculous what it's saying. Of course, black people own property down south. I know every way they got trimmed down there too. Balloon notes, stuff like that.
But there's a difference between saying, see, people who get, I think you're getting defensive about, is it the white privilege thing that makes you, well, because people get defensive about the white privilege thing. Because people hear it.
What does it mean?
Because people hear it and think that means, I'm white, so someone thinks I didn't work for anything that I have.
It's a political construction of a particular era that comes up that you can show the genesis of it, and it's a way of rhetoric of using power, and it actually, I think, splits people up. Racism is rooted in economics.
Right.
You know, why don't you go down south and see the expletive deleted woods and how they live?
Yeah, I just
go to
think.
Kentucky.
Oh, ooh, gross. No, I just think that there's a difference.
You want to see a version of hell?
I just think there's a difference, though, between saying that white people have it better and saying, like, it's like no one's saying, just white people have it so easy and every minority has it so much harder. Like, there's a difference between saying white people have it easy and saying white people have it easier, I guess is what I'm really getting to.
Yeah, because life is so easy.
No, but life is easier.
But it's irrelevant because you're talking about people that are living a life. My mother was born into Dickensian poverty in the 1920s in the Depression, and my father had the before he went to high school, threaded a bobbin boy. Said it was the worst job he ever had, and he was told, "Oh, why don't you take the college course?" Who could college? How ridiculous! But for World War II and the GI Bill, whole generation wouldn't have been able to go to college. But joining the military at that time at 17, hell, it was a step up for people economically.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but then you're talking about this is political discourse used in certain ways to accrue power, because rhetoric and the ability to move people is power.
Who's using it to accrue power?
The people that come up, when you come up with a narrative, it's part of it's a strategy to make a point, to win your point. You're winning a point. It's an expression of power. All languages. We should read, I'll bring you a copy of Orwell in the English language, that essay he had. So when you're talking about certain things like white privilege, what does that mean? That because if I was in inner city Chicago, a living friggin' hell, compared to being, some expletive deleted wood, I can't use the term that they use in Kentucky, in some hideous shack without electricity or something. Is that more of a privilege because there's more violence in the inner city?
Well, part of the problem with the term white privilege, and it does get tricky because it means something different to different people. To some people get upset with that term because they think white privilege means, so you're saying I as a white person just had everything handed to me, which is not true because I worked very hard for everything I have. So some people get offended by the term. To me, I think of white privilege more as being, I think the numbers bear out. Statistically, economically, you're best off being white. And that's...
How if you're best off being, it could be different in other cultures.
Right.
I'm sure we'll talk about that afterwards,
but I don't think that pointing out, Fred's trying to point out examples of where it's an advantage to be white. You really don't believe that. You don't believe that you as a white person have any advantage socioeconomically or anything at all. You really don't?
I've had an advantage in that in the profiling sense about getting rousted.
Well, okay, that's a pretty right. That's not worth
but people, if you
observing.
But in a place that's all white, like here or other places, which this wasn't as bad off as other places, that's not going to be much of an advantage when the cops are going to roust you anyways.
Yeah. But, I mean, it's a pretty good example, though, of, overall in most places, you're less likely to be in a situation where, well, for example, I think I think an unarmed white man is far less likely to be shot than an unarmed black man.
Yeah.
Or a white man who gets caught with a little bit of cannabis in in an area that hasn't gone legal yet is a lot less likely to end up in jail than a black man who gets caught with a little bit of cannabis.
Because in a place like New York City in the 90s, they're going to have a program of prosecution to bring down crime that's going to be very hard on people caught in the machinery. And since black folk and other minorities can be poor, including immigrants, legal or illegal, they'll get caught up in that machine.
We have a call. This will be the last one of the show because we're almost out of time. Go ahead, caller.
Hey, yeah, I just wanted to point out, white privilege doesn't always just get down to economics. I mean, after you made that point, your co-host there.
Not co-host. Gadfly.
No, not co-host, but frequent guests will say. He said it. He said, well, as a white guy, I'm not going to be racially profiled. It's like, well, that's an example of a privilege.
And
a white person is not going to be racially profiled.
Are they not going to be racially profiled? Is that true? Because I'll tell you a true story.
Well, no, you can break it down to one particular story or make it one personal circumstance, but your one personal story doesn't represent a whole.
How is it? How doesn't it?
Black people, people of color, are profiled significantly, by and large, way more than a white person ever could be, or white people ever could be.
Okay,
so that is white privilege.
Tennessee.
We have white privilege, dude. I worked
Tennessee.
20 jobs, okay? I worked my butt off. I am still privileged as a white person. I'm not going to be pulled over just because a person of color.
Right.
And white people never get pulled over.
Of that. We are living in a day and age when we need to be good allies. We need to recognize that we were born into privilege, whether we're poor or rich. If we have white
Where have you
skin, we're born
lived?
into privilege, and you got to recognize
Where
that.
have you lived, though?
Dinosaur, dude, wake up! 2018.
Where have you lived? Dude, I got more experience than you have.
Thank you for the call.
In 1979 in Tennessee, if you're driving with long blonde hair, a 10-year-old Cadillac, you've met the profile of a drug dealer, and you'll have a pistol put to your head with a cocked, hammer, because you met the profile, buddy. Rednecks have their own gangs too.
All right, well, we got to get out of here because there is another live show coming up right after. Of course, Wednesdays is just
they boxed you in
just in time for sports. Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Oh, I hear sirens. Oh no, not on Halloween. I hope everything's all right out there. So we're gonna go. Thank you, John. Thank you, Fred, for calling earlier. Thank you, Derek Evan Relaford. And anybody I forgot. Oh, thank you to Glenn R.J. Ouellette. And I'm going to leave you with this for Halloween. A little more Alice Cooper. What the hell? This is a favorite of mine. Feed My Frankenstein from the Hey Stupid album. Yeah, this is from the late 80s. So we'll conclude with this. Everybody be safe out there. Happy Halloween.